connect with the person that you're talking to.
Yep.
You've got to understand what is really important to them. So what I'm going to talk about on Friday, but I don't have enough time. It's a big subject, right? I don't have enough time to go into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why, if you rely on features and benefits to sell, it's actually the worst thing you can do. Because what it actually ends up meaning is, as I can't make a decision between you and your competitors, so I have to choose on price. So what we're going to look at is why that's the case. And if that is the case, then what can you do about it? And it all comes back to connecting to the emotions of the person you're talking to. So that's one facet. And if we've got time, I'd love to, because again, I think when money tightens up, I know we're in this strange place right now in Australia where it kind of feels like spending could go either way, right? We could just go back to normal pretty quickly, or we could kind of find ourselves in that slightly tricky environment where there's still enough uncertainty for people to go, I don't know, that feels like a lot of money to me. I'm not sure I'm willing to make that investment.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was just touch on a couple of ideas around how you position your product or service so that it creates more traction for the people you're talking to. So we'll touch on this idea around how you connect to the emotional desires, but then also how are you going to actually sell your product? Not in terms of emotional desires, but are you going to bundle it up with other things to make it more attractive? So there's this idea, which we probably won't have time to, so I'll just quickly touch on it now in case you're going to put this out to the community. There was a brilliant study done in 2007 by some very eminent sort of economists and psychologists and stuff like that. And the study really looked at this idea of when the pleasure of perceived ownership of a product or service exceeds the pain of price we buy. So it's about how do you overcome or ratchet up the pleasure of ownership to overcome the pain of price or the pain of ownership. And it might not just be price, it could be anything. Like if you've got an IT system, for example, it's not just the price of buying it, it's the implementation, it's the disruption. All of those things become a pain point for that client. So you need to create your product in a way that enables that client to go, he's thought of all of those pain points, or she's thought of all of those pain points and just negated them, so I can go ahead and make that purchase decision.